Today I wanted to share with you the truth about our emotions. And the truth is, a lot of us might think that our thoughts and our emotions make us who we are. And the reason is because we are so conditioned to say things like, I'm angry, I'm depressed, I'm sad. And when we use that terminology, what we're doing is subconsciously identifying with that emotion. And so instead of looking at it from an observer point of view, we're looking at it as if this is who we are. And that's what it means to identify with it. But we are not our thoughts and our emotions. That does not make our identity. So we are the experiencer of these thoughts and emotions. And when we have a thought or an emotion, it's because we've suppressed it to begin with. So basically, like, we've had an experience from our past or from our childhood, and that caused us to feel angry, it caused us to feel sad, or whatever the emotion that we're experiencing is. And we didn't express it or acknowledge it at that time the way that it wanted to be expressed or acknowledged. So we ended up kind of shoving it down deep and just holding on to that emotion and holding on to that experience instead of expressing it. And then the problem comes with that is we've suppressed this emotion and we've suppressed this feeling or this experience for so long, we've kind of forgot what that core experience was that has made us feel angry. So for example, so I used to get really mad at my dog when she would use the bathroom in the house. And even though it's not her fault, she's a dog, and it's my fault. So if I don't take her out in time, or if I don't notice that she's trying to tell me that she needs to go out, but I get angry at her for using the bathroom in the house, it's not her fault that I'm angry, but I'm blaming her and what she's done. And then I feel bad later because I've taken out my anger on her. I've yelled at her, I've punished her, whatever. And then I feel bad because I allowed my anger to act in a way that doesn't really align with who I am. So then I end up having regrets of how I treated her. So basically what that means is I have suppressed anger. I had suppressed anger from my childhood or from a past experience. And I'm not saying that you have to know exactly the experience that you went through to be able to heal and not do this. So you don't have to live through the experience that caused you to go through it in the first place to not continue doing it in the future. All you have to do is stop resisting it. So once you are, if you're resisting something, that means you're pushing against it. Okay, so if you are thinking, if you feel a thought or an emotion coming to you and you're like, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to think about it, what you're really doing is resisting it, and that's just making it push against you harder. So when you resist something, if you push your hand against something, you're keeping it stuck there. But if you let go, then the whole situation just drops. So what you have to do is practice allowing the emotion. So instead of just being like, I'm so angry or whatever, and creating a whole mood about it, you're going to want to just see, okay, so for me it would be like, all right, my dog used the bathroom in the house. Look at that situation and just be like, okay, this makes me feel really irritated. This makes me feel angry. And just accept it and allow it to come through. And then you'll notice that once you just accept it and kind of allow it to just be there for a second, it goes away. Because an emotion is like a wave. So a wave is very temporary. So an emotion really only is supposed to last 90 seconds. So after 90 seconds, if you're still feeling that emotion, you're choosing to feel the emotion. and you're choosing to continue to put fire on the emotion and allowing it to just kind of sit there and resonate, and then it turns into a mood, and then it's like your whole day. So one little experience has messed up your entire day because you've held on to that emotion. So the way to stop is to stop resisting it and to just kind of allow it. And yes, that probably sounds like that's really hard, but it just takes practice. So the first thing is to become aware of what you're feeling and just be like, okay, so what made me feel that way? Notice it. So for me, my dog using the bathroom in the house. And then realize it's nobody's fault. Take the fault out of it and just allow it to happen. And then you'll watch it melt away. And I promise it'll just go away. And the more you practice it, you'll notice that you don't even get angry at that thing anymore, because that's not really the reason why you were angry to begin with. You're angry to begin with because of something that happened to you years ago that you don't even remember. So if you notice the things that trigger you, and I'm using anger as an example, but this can be with sadness. If you're constantly feeling depressed, notice what triggers your depression, and then ask yourself, okay, or just tell yourself, okay, I feel sad because of this, or I feel gloomy, or I feel depressed because of this, and just accept it, allow it to be, watch it melt away. And then the more and more you do that, you'll get to the point where, for me anyways, I don't get mad. I don't get angry anymore when my dog uses the bathroom. I'm just like, it is what it is. I clean it up and I go on about my day. I don't put 1 ounce of effort into that anger anymore, because that's not what I was angry about to begin with. So I just notice my triggers to my emotions, and then I accept them, I allow them, and the more that I accept them and I allow them, they disappear, and then I notice later on, I'm not even getting angry or upset or sad about that thing anymore. So I hope that this makes sense. Please feel free to leave comments and ask me any questions if you want, or any extra tips, or like how I did this. So I tried my best to explain it. But it's really all about just that resistance and letting go of the resistance and just allowing it to happen. Because once you realize the thing that it was making you mad or triggering you is not even the thing that's really the problem. You've just associated it with the problem because you forgot what the actual problem is. And the beautiful thing about it is you don't have to remember the actual problem. You just have to stop giving the energy to the excuses or to the triggers that you've created along the way over the years. And then eventually you won't be triggered anymore. You lose the triggers because you accept the triggers, and then you accept the emotion, and then the triggers no longer trigger you anymore, because you'll start to realize they weren't the problem to begin with. It's something completely different that you may not even recall or remember.